Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shibishakangitangscha Mantra Guru Ajo Tashika Guru Ganta Chorane Agikori Abandan Manchakal Patruvi Ashtaku Prashindu Bevacha Paditanam Bhavneva Vaishnava Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Se Advaita Gadadhara Shivashta Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutala Shamade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Te Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudamani Pishani Nirvisheshishna Hare Krishna Krishna. And we were hearing last night that out of fear that Gaushundur would take to the path of renunciation, would lose interest in household life, having become Gyanavan, Gyanavan, as a result of studying Shastra. So therefore, Jagannath Mishra took him out of school. And Nimai was not very happy about that, because actually he was inclined to study. He was brilliant student. Adikonde, go down gir, Sharva Shastra Jai, Tribhuvane, Jeno Nahi, Sheshon Mukohoy. Sharva Shastra Jai, he conquered all the scriptures. Tribhuvane, Henu Nahi, Sheshon Mukohoy. Within the three worlds, there was no one who could stand before him in Shastric debate. So he liked to study. So having not been given opportunity for studying, he was unhappy. He was so much mischievous activity. Then one day he climbed up onto the pots where discarded Vishnu Ranna cooking, the black pots, and he was sitting there like a doll, a golden doll with the chandan, black marks. So Sachimata trying to convince him come down. He was talking to impersonal philosophy, everything is one, and arguing, how can I differentiate between clean and unclean if I'm not educated? The ladies came, they said, stay there, whatever it takes, this is not right. So when Jagannath Mishra came back, Sachimata, she relayed this incident. The son, he's like, he wants to study. And then Jagannath Mishra, so many of his friends, they induced him that you let your son study. This is, a Brahmin has to study. You let him study. So Jagannath Mishra, he agreed. He agreed to the arguments, to the opinion of the people, his friends. He agreed. Okay. So we're reading from the 8th chapter, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, 8th chapter, text number 7. We're reading from here. E morto, Gochandra, Balarash Bhola, Jagyo Pavitra Kal, Ashiya Milila. So the Jagyo Pavitra Kal, the time of receiving the sacred thread. Jagyo Pavitra Kal. It came. So Jagannath Mishra, he's decided to again initiate the studies of Nimai. He studies, again studying, and then he's going to now give him the sacred thread. The sacred thread. Jagya Upavitra. Jagya Upavitra. Upavitra is called Upavitra, it's called Jagya Upavitra. In ISKCON generally we say Brahman thread, Jagya Upavitra. So Jagannath Mishra will give that to Nimai, as is the tradition in the Brahmin family. The father gives the Jagya Upavitra. The father gives that and gives some mantra, or some mantra guru can give mantra. We don't hear Nimai receiving any mantra now. He doesn't receive mantra. But he might, because what's the point of a thread without mantra? So it was not mentioned he received mantra. In the Gurukul, these boys, these boys, they get the Jagya Pavitra, they get the Shuta, the sacred thread. when they're young. I don't know how old, 12. And then they're studying. So the person who gives that is a mantra guru. But later they'll take initiation and get the ISKCON whole thing. But they get the Brahma Gayatri mantra. So Nimai is getting that now. Jagyashutra, also called Jagyashutra. Jagyashutra. Putre Diben Mishrabar Bondubar Go Dakia Anila Nijir Ghor. So he called all of his friends. And they all came and they all started to participate in the festival. Some were playing musical instruments, mridanga, shanai, flute. The Brahmins were chanting the Vedas, chanting Vedic hymns. The ladies were uludhani, and singing glories of Sri Krishna. And the orators there. And in English it's called orator, bard, in the court. Just like we don't have, but we could have in our GBC meetings or in a festival, GBF annual, and devotees come from the front. The great Maharatis, the great generals of our movement, they come to Mayapur. So as they're coming, then we can have the orators. They're announcing their arrival and they're saying their glories. Hare Krishna, we welcome His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami, the great conqueror of Delhi, the great conqueror of Mumbai. He has conquered, and so many achievements. And then as he's walking in, then the orators they narrate these things. We could do that in ISKCON, I think. I would like to be one of those narrators. Actually, I think I could. No, actually, I had the service of introducing the devotees. Ratha Jatra, Kolkata, as an Anushthan, Ratha Jatra, stage program, as Bangla. And our Bhakti Charu Shami Maharaj and Shurajapataka Shami Maharaj, other gurus, and I would announce them. I would announce them in Bengali. I would announce them. And actually, I read that then all these people are there. They're all in a big tent. And then Krishna actually likes to hear his devotee glorified. Krishna likes to hear his devotee glorified. And so that's a nice service, actually. Actually, where you introduce somebody, that like a speaker comes, and then they're introduced. Now, there's a whole art to that. How you introduce the person. And the least exciting thing to do is when they stand there and they read the bio that they got off the internet. You make the introduction something spectacular. Something spectacular. And it's every night you're introducing the same person every night. So every night you have to say something new. It's not the same thing every time, because many people come every evening. So I have to say something new. Or at least you change the order, then it appears like something new. You change the order of things. So the oratorship. Actually, he was saying in Hyderabad, teachers training. He was saying that Sitaram Prabhu was saying Hyderabad teachers training. They teach you oratorial skills. It's all in the opening. It's all in the opening words. As either you capture them or you lose them. In the opening words. The opening. Opening has to be powerful. The first sound that comes out of your mouth. So that this time, it wasn't just a random time. They're going to give Sachinandan the sacred thread. It's not just, well, when will we do it? Oh, this afternoon. Oh, let's do it tomorrow. No. They consult. They're all Brahmins. Actually, Gauranga, his Dadu. His mother's father, Nilambar Chakrabarti. It's a Belpukur. That was his house, Belpukur. And he was a great astrologer. He did the astrology for Dwijambar when he appeared. He did astrological reading for him, and he's the grandfather. So there was no lack of learned scholars of the Jyotish Bed. No. Shubha Mashe, Shubha Dine, Shubha Kondhari, Doilen, Jagyashutra, Gauranga Srihari. Shubha Mash, auspicious month. Now it's Shubha Mash. Shubha Mash, Shubha Din. Now is Shubha Din actually. Today is Shubha Din, Gopastami. You saw Sri Radhika's Kamal Charan? You saw? You didn't. Only open till lunchtime, then again closed. You missed it. Yeah. Yeah, but in Mayapur we break the GBC rules. There's a GBC rule, you're not allowed to show Sri Radhika's lotus feet anytime, any day. In Mayapur they break the GBC rules. Mayapur management, they break the GBC rules. I think there would be riot if they didn't show Sri Radhika's lotus feet. I think the devotees would riot. They would tear down the GBC assembly hall. You read Daksha Jagya Bhagavatam? You know, they tear down the flags, they tear down the festoons, they break all the pots. A riot. So Shubha Din, Shubha Mash, Shubha Din, Shubha Khan. An auspicious month, auspicious day, auspicious time in the day. Dhorilen Jagyashutra Gauranga Sri Hari, he accepted that sacred thread. Generally we have initiation on auspicious day. Initiation ceremony. Gaur Panima, Nishinga Chaturdasi, Krishna Janmastami, auspicious day for initiation. So we should do these things. We should do these things in our movement. If anyone here wants to learn, you can learn. Why not? It's Chintamani. Someone asked me yesterday about how to something. I said, yeah, I think asked me how to achieve. I said you can achieve anything you want in Krishna consciousness, anything you desire, the spiritual things. Chintamani, Nama Chintamani, Krishna Chaitanya Rosha Vigraha. Nama Chintamani is full desire fulfilling. Just like I was from a different country, completely different culture, different background, everything completely different. But I desired actually liberation from that. Desired liberation. I don't want that. I want something different. So I got something different. Yeah, it's completely different. I live in India. I'm probably in India more than many of the people sitting here actually. 25 years. So there's a desire fulfilled because Krishna, for a foreigner in India to Krishna consciousness is easy. So he accepted that sacred thread. Yeah, so we're saying that anything you desire, you can have fulfilled. You can say that what we created here is the manifestation of the desire of the devotee. The desire of the previous Acharyas, Thakur Bhaktivinoda, Srila Prabhupada. He desired and this temple appears. He desired, that's all. He desired. Your desires can become fulfilled. You have to align the desire with Krishna's desire. You know when you get a new printer, you have to align the print cartridges, yeah? Paper. So you have to align your desire with Krishna's desire. The more ekdam straight line hoyeche, ekdam perfect. It will happen. Why not? Well, Krishna desires it also. That's book distribution actually, the prayer on book distribution. It's Mahaprabhu's desire. Nitai Gosha, he's desiring they take the book. Let me just get in line with that. Let me just be the instrument of that desire. It's not for me. You're not for my prestige, reputation, acknowledgement. No, it's for Krishna desires. Let me fulfill. Let me serve Krishna's desire. That's it. You don't have to pray anything else. So he looked very beautiful there. That the sacred thread, it looked like Anantashesh Prakash. Sacred thread. This is new actually. I put it on in Puri. This is kind of white. But here you take bath in Ganga, after 2 weeks this all goes dark. They're new. I put it in Puri in the ocean. You change this in the ocean or in the Ganga. So it looked like Anantashesh. It was Anantashesh. All of these the personal paraphernalia of the Lord, shoes, bed, plate, is all manifestation of Anantashesh, Lord Balaram. He serves that in that way. So the Brahman thread was Anantashesh. And then, having received that initiation, then, as is the culture, the initiated boy, a Brahmin, Rishiputra, he begs. Up to this point, he hasn't begged. But actually, Brahmin can beg. Sannyasi can beg. Sannyasi has uttari. It's meant for begging. We heard Mahaprabhu, and he went to the Singadwar, and he laid his cloth out and begged. Sannyasi is meant for begging. Tridandi bhikkha, it means beggar. Bhikkha, it's beggar. Sannyasi is beggar. So the brahmachari is begging. Here it is brahmachari. It's brahmachari begging. So he hate danda khande juli Shri Gaura Sundor bhikkha kore prabhu sharva sheboker gor. Bhikkha kore prabhu sharva sheboker gor. In the houses of his devotees, Sarva Shebok. Hate Danda, he has a danda. I think it's bale tree. It's a wooden bale tree. I'm not sure. I think a bale tree. And Kande Juli. Juli is this shoulder bag, a real sadhu shoulder bag, just made out of one cloth they can tie, and it's called Juli. So he was like that, just that he had his little dhoti, little black hair tied in a knot, he has tilak, has his Brahman thread, has his little bag here on the shoulder, and a danda in his hand. And he's going door to door. Actually, living in Mayapur is a great fortune, just like many of our Birwandi, Juhu, Hyderabad, I don't know what to call this yatra, it's all Birwandi, Juhu, Hyderabad, no, Atapur. But in any case, I see many of the senior founders of the yatra that now are residing in Mayapur. This is a great benediction. Reside in Mayapur. Because it's not like living in the city. In next door neighbor, they're cooking all sorts of abominable things. The smell, the late night and everything, and the noise. Here in Mayapur, you don't have that. There's apartments, but it's just all devotees, everybody. So sometimes I have apartments. Sometimes from Gurukul, the brahmacharis come. They come. The young boys, like 5-6 years old, they come. They've got that initiation. And then they come to the house, and then they're begging. I take full advantage. I invite them in. I give them ashon. I pay andandavat. I seek blessings. I try to feed them. This is grihastha dharma. Sometimes I see sannyasis here. I fall down at their feet, and I say, Prabhu, and I say, please, Bhagavatam says we should perform varnashram dharma. Bhagavatam says we should perform varnashram dharma. You bow down when the householder bows down at the lotus feet of the sannyasi. So these boys come, so we bow down. In fact, we were reading the other day, who was that received the guests? And Sanatana Saraswati, it was Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sanatana Saraswati Thakur said, receiving guests is as important, as powerful as serving the Guru. Receiving the guests. Yogpit, yeah. Okay, that Brahmin came. Yeah. So he's going. So these boys come, and we give donation. That's the Guru. These sometimes you see on initiation the devotees they get initiated, and then they're standing at the front temple gate, and all devotees they're standing there. They get dokina, but actually you're meant to go outside. Not just stand there where all the devotees are coming. That's where you're meant to go, outside, door to door. That's bhikkha, outside. So he's going now. He's going out, but he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's going to the houses of his devotees. They appeared here to do lila with him. They're his servants, and he's begging from their door. So as he was going, and the devotees, they gave contribution. And giving. Jar Jota Shakti Bika Shabai Shantoshe. Jota Shakti. They gave what they could, and with great satisfaction they put into his bag. Prabhu Julite Dia Narigon Hashe, and they were enjoying so much, giving Bhiksha to Gochandra, putting in his bag. Now who were these housewives? Who were these housewives who were putting the donation in the bag of Gochandra? Dvija Patni Rup Dhori Brahmani Rudrani Joto Patibrata Munibarge Grihini. That Dvija Patni Rup means the form of a wife of a Brahmin. Dvija Patni Rup Dhori. So they accepted the forms of the wives of Brahmins. Who was that? That was Brahmani Rudrani. Means Saraswati Devi and Saraswati Devi and Parvati. They came to serve Gauranga, and then they assumed the form of an ordinary Navadip household Brahmini to give him alms. Parvati and Saraswati and Jota Patibrata Muni Bhargya Grihini. Jota Patibrata means accepting the vow of the husband. Muni Bhargya Grihini, the wives of the great sages. They also assumed the form of Brahmanis in Navadip to be able to give donations. And Saraswati Thakur says that included the great devotees that you hear in the Bhagavatam: Aditi, Anushuya, Arundhati, Debohuti. They are the Muni Bhagya Grihini, the wives of the great Munis and Rishis. They assume the form of Brahmins in Navadip just to give alms. Prabhu O Koren Shri Baman Rup Lila Jiber Udhar Lagi A Shakal Kela. So he appeared like Vamandev in child form. Vamandev also begging. Jiber Udhar Lagi A Shakal Lila. And these pastimes, why he's performing these pastimes, Vrindavana Thakur says Jiber Udhar Lagi, to deliver the entire world. To deliver the entire world. For the redemption of all conditioned souls. Well, how is that? How is the redemption of all conditioned souls? No. Because Sri Gauda Modhur Lila Jarkone Prabhu, by hearing, when we hear these pastimes, Ridoy Nirmal Bhalo Dar, the heart becomes completely purified. So he performs pastimes that we can subsequently hear, and in that way become Krishna conscious. Jai Jai Shri Baman Rup Gauri Chandra Dan Deho Uridoy Tomar Pada Dondwa. He's praying that Dan Deho, you give me your lotus feet in my heart, that I can capture your lotus feet in my heart constantly. So in this way, he received the Jagyupabitra, the sacred thread, in the ceremony, and went begging door to door from the wives of the great rishis and demigods who were incognito in the house of the Navadip Brahmanis. This text 25 of chapter 8. Gore Sharva Shastre Bujya Shamahito Goshtima Jai Prabhu Porite Hoilu Chitto. It's a very interesting verse, this verse. I find it very fascinating. That Gore Sarva Shastre Bujya Shamahito. Mahaprabhu already was conversant in all of the Sarva Shastra. He already understood. He could do reading and writing already. He learnt, as previously described. He was writing Bengali alphabet, ka ga, ga ga, saying the sounds, and it was enchanting all the minds of the Navadip Basis. He would begin the writing Vanamali, Krishna, Murari, the names of Krishna. No one told him to do that, but he would write the names of Krishna, and that way he learnt the alphabet, Bengali alphabet. So Ghore Sarva Shastri Bhujya Shamahita, he actually had completed all the study of all the Shastras at home. He already understood everything. However, Goshti Majay, Prabhu Porite Hoilu Chitto. Goshti Majay means in association of others. Goshti, Majay. Prabhu Porite Hoilo Chitto. Porite means to study in the association of others. Prabhu Hoilo Chitto, he had a desire. Hoilo Chitto, he desired in his heart. Now I find that particularly fascinating because it doesn't mention earlier that he desired to study with others. It's not mentioned earlier. So in other words, this desire has just now come. So isn't that fascinating? That the Supreme Bhagavan, he's Purnam, everything is there, but still desires come to him. Desires come to him that weren't there before. He wasn't thinking about, I want to study with other students before. But then, Goshti Majay Prabhu Porite Hoilo Chitto, it appeared in his heart, a desire. That's interesting, isn't it? It's like, it's not all that everything's predetermined and the Leela and it's got to happen like this. He gets surprised. You can surprise Krishna. How is that possible? He's surprised. He knows everything. He knows the future. So how can you surprise him? Well, how can we be surprised if God can't be surprised? How is it possible we can be surprised? So he experiences these things. Desires come that weren't there before. Isn't that amazing? I find that pretty interesting. He's a person. He's a supreme person. And he has desires. They come. I mean, he's not thinking about marriage here also. He's not thinking about marriage. He's in the Vidyalila. But later he will be thinking about marriage. Desires come that weren't there before. So he wants to study with others. Wants to study with others. Why is that? Because he's Dvijamani. He's Dvijamani. He's the crest jewel of the Brahmins. So that means that, like a Kshatriya, you need opponents. How can you show your prowess? So a Brahmin, to show that he's Dvijamani, Vishwambar, the crest jewel of Navadip Chandra, the moon, rising moon of Navadip, he has to shine, his brilliance has to appear amongst others. Has to be, look at, how we can compare. No one can stand before him. In other words, others have to be there for that lila to be enjoyed. So he wants to enter into the society of the Navadip Brahmins and become Dvijamani, the crest jewel, and for that reason he needs to get educated in the Brahmin school. And of course, when he goes, not like us, we go to, just when I say the name school, everyone cringes in fear. I think you're in college, but college also cringing in fear. But just keep in mind that if you don't become Krishna conscious this life and finish up, then again the school will be there. Again, all of that school. I remember I was a young child at school, and it was just like, completing school just seemed like universes, like yugas away. It was only 10 years, I think, 10 years, 12 years, and it's finished. The 12 years is nothing. When you get older, 12 years goes so quick, but at that time it was like yugas to finish school. So he desired to go to school. So who is he going to learn from? They're just going to Google it and just see who's in the neighborhood, some teacher, or they'll compare prices. We'll compare prices. And is he going to pick a teacher like that? No, he's a special teacher. This person that becomes a teacher of Nimai, he just appears for this service. Nabadipe Ache Oddapak Shiromani Ganga Das Pandit Jeheno Shandipani Navadipe Ache Oddapak Shiromani, the Shiromani, the jewel of all the professors of Navadip, the jewel, the Shiromani, Oddapak Shiromani, Ganga Das Pandit Jeheno Shandipani. He is Krishna's guru. Krishna and Balaram, Avantipur. Krishna learned 64 arts. He learned how to speak to the birds, many interesting things you won't learn in school today. So his teacher, Sandipani Muni, and then that nice story for the Guru Dakina, he brought back the deceased son of Sandipani Muni. So that's Sandipani Muni. Jehano Shandipani, that's Gangadas Pandit. He appeared again. Now, interesting to know that he doesn't cruise around thinking, hey, I'm Sandipani Muni. He forgets that. He doesn't think that I'm Sandipani Muni and this Gauranga is Krishna. He doesn't think that. But he loves, the Bab is the same, but he's thinking he's Sandipani, he's thinking he's Gangadas Pandit in Navadip, that's it. This Purnamashi, Jogmaya, she makes the eternal, like we were hearing last night, the Advaita Acharya, Nimai is coming, he's pulling the dhoti of Vishwambar. Advaita Acharya, he's God, he's Vishnu, he's Mahavishnu. He doesn't think, there's Bhagavan, he's come. Moni Moni Chintaya Advaita Mahashai, Prakrita Manushtai Balokna, he's thinking, this boy, his body is like non-material. He's forgetting. He's God, he's forgetting Nimai is God. So they're not thinking I'm eternal associate. I'm not thinking that. I mean, the Jagannath Mishra, he's not thinking that I'm Nanda Baba. Before I was a cowherd, king of the cowherd men, now I'm a Brahmin in Navadip. He doesn't think that. It's a Maya. We forget God, but we forget God because of material energy. But they forget because of internal energy, Jogmaya. So this character of Gangadas Pandit, what sort of a teacher was he? Vyakaran Shastrer Ekanta Tattabit Tartai Podite Prabhu Shamihit Vyakaran Shastrer Ekanta Tattabit. Ekanta Tattabit means that the truths of Sanskrit grammar, he knew the ultimate limit. Ekanta means the end. Extremely knowledgeable in Sanskrit grammar. Vyakaran Shastra Ekanta Tattabit. So Nimai wanted to study at his school. Now everything here is so transcendental and everything. It's not that there's some clash of interest between Jagannath Mishra and Sachinanda. And immediately Jagannath Mishra knows that he wants to study with Gangadas Pandit. And he's taking him to see Gangadas Pandit. It's like... So as they're approaching the house, as they're approaching the ashram, the school of Gangadas Pandit, Mishra Deki, Gangadash, Shambhrame Utila, Alingan Kore, Ek Ashane Boshila. Mishra Deki, when Gangadas Pandit, he saw Jagannath Mishra coming with Nimai, he stood up. And with Shambhrame, with great respect, Shambhrame Utila, and then Ek Ashane, Alingan Kori, embraced him. Whether they knew each other before, maybe they did, the two Brahmins in Navadip, maybe they did, but anyway, he embraced him. Even in Gauri Lila, you can embrace an unknown person. And last night we heard that or the day before, that Brahmin, he saw Vishwarup, he embraced him. So Jagannath Mishra, Gangadas Pandit, he embraces Jagannath Mishra, and then they sit on the same level. Ek Ashone Boshila, Ek Ashone, because they're equals. Of course, if one's guru would come, then one wouldn't sit on the same seat. One would sit on the ground and give the seat to the guru. So then Jagannath Mishra begins speaking. Mishra bole, Putra ami, Dilu tomar sthane, Poriba, Shuniba, Shakal apane. Putra ami, Dilu tomar sthane. I've given you my son. Poraibo, Shunaibo. Punaibo, Shunaibo. You teach him everything, that means. You teach him everything. You make him learn everything. Poraibo means you make him learn. You make him read. Poraibo, shunaibo. You make him read and you tell him everything. So what does Gangadhar Pandit say? Do they immediately start talking about the school fees? Well, you know that every semester it will cost you 15,000 rupees, and here's the accounts and everything. You know, they don't talk about that at all. Gangadhar bole boro bhagya she amar poraimo joto shakti ache amar. Gangadhar bole boro bhagya she amar, boro bhagya she. I'm so fortunate. Boro bhagya she amar. I'm so fortunate. Boro bhagya she amar. Yes, I will certainly teach him to the best of my ability. Shishya Deki, the Sishya. It's already referring to him as Sishya, the disciple. Shishya Deki, Param Anande Gangadash, Putra Prai Rokila, Korila Nijera Pash. So Gangadhar Pandit, he was so happy to see Sachinandan, that just like a son. Gangadhar Pandit had sons, but just like a son, Putra Prayi, just like a son, he's going to deal with Nimai and interact with him. So now this is interesting that Joto Bakko Gangadhar Pandit Koren Shukrit Shunile Matro Thakur Doren. We hear on different occasions, like for example, on the bank of the Ganga, 10 years later, when Dijamani is defeating the Digbijay Pandit. And the Digbijay, he requests that Digbijay Pandit, you recite some glorification of Magonga. And the Digbijay, immediately 100 verses, spontaneous, Sanskrit verses. All the students of Nimai, all those, their mouths just like dropped open. They never heard such a display of eloquent, poetic skill. He could immediately compose verses glorifying Sanskrit. So he goes, 100 verses, like the flowing of the Ganga. And everyone's amazed. And at the end, Nimai says, well, can kindly feedback, some good points, some room for improvement. And he says, what do you mean room for improvement? There's no fault in my composition. And then Nimai says, well, a few. Then he picks one verse. It's not the beginning verse, not the end verse, it's right in the middle. And he recites that verse. And Gangadhar Digbijay Keshav Kashmiri, he's astonished how you could remember that verse. And Nimai said, well, just as some people are gifted potency to compose poetry, others can remember just by hearing once. So that's 10 years later. But now this feature is already manifest in his character. That Joto Bakko means whatever he said. Joto Bakko, Gangadhar Pandit Koren, whatever grammar he spoke. Shukrit Shunile Matro, Thakur Doren. Hearing it once, Nimai remembered. Shukrit Shunile Matro, Thakur Doren. Hearing it once, even from the time he's a young boy. He remembered everything Gangadhar Pandit said. So then immediately he became, so brilliant, so much appreciated, so much loved by Gangadhar Pandit. He'd never had a student like this before, that remembered everything he said. How do you get such a student? Sometimes I teach these teachers training programs, and afterwards I give the feedback on students, and sometimes a really good student, sometimes I'll say, what pious activities I performed in previous lives to get a student like Pramod Gopinath? What pious activities I performed in previous lives to get such a student? Actually, it's a pleasure for a teacher to have a qualified student. It's a pleasure. Teaching is not about getting the salary. Right? That's what Brahman. It's not about getting the salary. It's about finding a qualified student and then training them and producing something. And that's a great pleasure. Teacher enjoys. So he was, Gangadhar Pandit was so much attracted to Nimai. Sahasra Sahasra Shishya Pore Joto Jon Heno Karo Shakti Nahi Diber Dushon. There were thousands and thousands, it says. Sahasra Sahasra. He had thousands and thousands of students. And no one could argue, no one could debate with Nimai. Dekhiyo Adbhut Buddhi Guru Hari Shite Sharva Shishya Shrestha Kori Korila Pujito. Yeah, sorry, I'll read that again. Dekhiya Adbhut Buddhi Guru Hari Shito Sharva Shishya Shrestha Kori Korila Pujito. That's saying the Adbhut Buddhi, the extraordinary intelligence. Adbhut Buddhi. We have the Adbhut Mandir. It's called Adbhut Mandir. Unprecedented. Adbhut Mandir. So he has Adbhut Buddhi. He has incomparable intelligence. And seeing this, Gangadas Pandit was so overjoyed. Sarva Shishya Shrestha Kori Korila Pujita. He honored him. Pujita, he honored him with the title Sarva Shishya Shrestha, the topmost of all disciples. And then at this time these associates became relationships. Sri Murari Gupta, his house is just the other side behind the jog pit. His house, Chaitanya Sri Murari Gupta, and he's a devotee whole life. He's coming to Jagannath Puri with those devotees. He's Sankirtan Murari Gupta, a young boy. The relationship begins. Krishnananda, Kamalakantam, other devotees there. So in this way, Sachinandan was studying with Gangadas Pandit. So now this is 5-6 years old. Soon he'll start his own school at the house of Sanjay Mukunda, and then he's giving his own classes. But still, like for example, when he came back from Gaya, so at that time he's 17. Comes back from Gaya, already married. Comes back from Gaya after initiation, he goes and sees Gangadas Pandit and takes his blessings. And then the students had a complaint, even though Nimai was teaching his own school, the students were complaining because he's not following the curriculum, he's just talking about Krishna. His students went to Gangadas Pandit to complain. So this was the relationship. Now the arti is going to start soon, so we'll go and see the arti. But I'll just finish with this Leela here now about Jagannath Mishra's departure. Jagannath Mishra's departure from this world. So one day, he had a dream. Jagannath Mishra had a dream. And Shopna Deki, seeing that dream, Shtavapa Dondavat Kori, he fell down on the ground and began offering prayers. Hey Govinda, Nimai Rahuk Morghore. He's praying, oh Govinda, please keep Nimai at home. Please keep Nimai. Suddenly he falls down on the ground praying, keep Nimai. Please, Govinda. So Satyamata says, well, what is this? You're praying, what is this, Prabhu? And Jagannath Mishra says, today I had a dream. Amazing dreams devotees have in Chaitanya Leela, Jagannath Leela. You heard some of the dreams this morning? Amazing dreams. So, in his dream, just listen to Jagannath Mishra's dream. Adbhut Shanyashi Besh. Korilen Najai. Kohane Najai. I'm sorry. Adbhut Shanyashi Besh. Kohane Najai. Hashe Nache. Kande. Krishna Boli Sharvatai. I saw Nimai Shanyashi dress. I mean, it's a terrible dream for a father. Nimai sannyasi dress. Kahan and Najai, you cannot describe his beauty. Hashe, sometimes he's laughing. Nache, he's dancing. Kande, he's crying. Krishna, Krishna, Boli Sarvadai, Subsamai, all the time chanting Krishna, Krishna. Advaita Acharya Adi, Joto Bhaktagon, Advaita Acharya Adi, beginning with Advaita Acharya, Joto Bhaktagon, and all of the devotees, Nimai, Bediye Shabai Koren Kirtan. They're all surrounding Nimai doing Kirtan. He's a young boy this stage. Right? And Jagannath Mishra is having the dream. He's a sannyasi with beautiful cloth. Advaita Acharya and so many devotees surrounding him doing Kirtan. What a dream. Kokono, sometimes, Nimai. Boshe, Vishnu, Kata, he would sit on the temple, on the wooden, in his dream. Nimai is sitting on the wooden altar. Charan Tulia Dei Shavar Matai, and he's putting his feet on the heads of all the devotees. And then who's there in the crowd who are worshipping him? Chaturamukh, Panchamukh, Sahasra Badan, Shabai Gayen Jai Shachinandan. Chaturmukh is Lord Brahma, four-headed. Panchamukh, five-headed Lord Shiva. Sahasra Badan is Anantashesh. Shabai Gayen, they're all chanting Jai Shachinandan. Jai Shachinandan. Jai Shachinandan. You like to see that dream with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and Anantashesh dancing and chanting Jai Shachinandan? This is what Jagannath Mishra saw. Maha Anande Chaturdike Shabai Shtuti Kore Chaturdike, in all directions, Sabai Shtuti, they're all glorifying Nimai. Maha Anande, in great bliss. Dekia Amara Boy Bhakyat Nahishpuri, everyone glorifying Nimai, Stuti, everyone except me, I'm there completely silent. Right? Completely terrified. My Nimai, what's this? He's the sannyasi, so many people glorifying him. Jagannath Mishra is completely devastated seeing in the dream. Kotakon deki koti lokalai nimai bulen proti nagarin achai. And then with koti lok, with millions of people, Nimai proti nagarin achai, he's wandering from village to village. Chaturdike shuni matro Nimai shtuti. All directions, so I'm hearing a glorification of Nimai. Nilachal Chai Shavra Bhaktir Shamahiti, and they're all going to Nilachal, Jagannath Puri. Shapna Deki Chintapai Sharvatai, seeing this dream, Chintapai Sharvatai, I'm in complete anxiety all the time. Birokta hoy pache putra bahira. Birokta hoy, our son will become detached and leave home. So he told this to Sachimata, and Sachimata says, Are, it's just a dream, Don't worry about it, it's just a dream. E moto parama udhar dui jan nana kotha kore putra sneher karon. And in this way, these two great souls, they're discussing putra sneha, out of affection for Nimai, they're discussing. Heno mote koto din taki mishra bar. Anturdan hoilo nitta shutto kolebar. And then after a few days, Jagannath Mishra, he departed from the world. He departed. And so therefore we see that Sachimata, she lost everything. She lost her, first of all, 8 daughters. And then Vishwarup took sannyas, and then Jagannath Mishra left the world. So all she has is Nimai. And then Nimai not married then also. He's still a few years, just Sachimata and Nimai. Therefore their relationship is very special, because that's all she had. Nimai is all she has. So Hare Krishna, any question?
Yeah. Prabhuji, what does the danda of the sannyasi represent, and why is it there are 3 dandas?
Words, mind, body. Words, mind, body in the service of the Lord. Therefore they're carrying, so they remember. After taking sannyas, the sannyasi, he's called Paribrajaka. First level of sannyas. Final level, Paramhamsa. Or I think Bahuduk is first level. Then Paribrajaka means they carry danda for at least 10 years. You see our sannyasis in ISKCON, new sannyasis, they have to have danda all the time. Old sannyasis, they see they don't need to carry danda. Paramhamsa. Yes, Bhavamoy Nitananda. I don't know. This Shiva deity here very special. Seeing as that you brought up the topic, this ancient Shiva linga here, and you were hearing that previously the temple was just this little building here, and Lord Shiva was worshipped just beside Jagannath. You also saw in Nimai Janmastan just beside is Shiva linga, two big Shiva lingas installed by Saraswati Thakur. So here in Navadip, Lord Shiva is especially present in Navadip, Lord Shiva. And Rudradeep, and he's there in meditation and Gaur Bhajan. So Lord Shiva here is a special position in Navadip Dham. He can, and there's a prayer there, you can read that prayer in Jogpit, in the Shiv Linga Ash Mandir. It says that he awards Gauda Prema. Mahadev awards Gauda Prema. Okay, thank you. So I think this is I think we won't be meeting again. Yes? No, we won't be. Maybe in another time, another place. We pray for your progress in Krishna consciousness. We pray that quickly you progress in awakening love of Krishna and mercy of Navadip Dham Basis upon you. I pray for that. Hare Krishna. It was nice. Your association in Jagannath Puri, and here last few evenings dancing in the Shribar Shangan, and it's very nice. I will cherish these memories for many days to come. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.